It's Brad's Laboratory.
Okay, so my rug doctor has started to give me trouble. The cord right here at the end, if you wiggle it, it works. If you quit wiggling it, it stops working. So I need to get it fixed. First thing I did was I took about 15 million screws out of the handle. And this last one here was on the other side, and it's actually a nut on the side where all the rest of the screws are. And that's actually the pivot point for the handle adjust lever. Next, with the handle apart, I worked on just kind of tugged on some of the connectors just to see if anything was loose inside. I suspect it's the actual wire, but the neutral nut came off pretty easy. Now I've moved out to the shop and I'm going to test the electrical connection on the cord because I really suspect that's the actual problem. The neutral nut was just a fluke that it was not connected very well. The small spade on the American plug is the hot side, and it goes to the black wire per our standard. So I'm going to hook up to the small spade and check the connection to the black wire, and here you'll see it's open. So that is definitely a bad cord. I go ahead and check the other wires. Just check the neutral, just to make sure they didn't swap it for some reason. But yeah, the neutral does test good when I get there. Yep. So there I got 1 ohm, and then I test the ground too, which is the circular uh, connector on the American plug, and it goes to the green wire. And that one looks good as well. So definitely a problem with the black wire. So what do we do? Here I am. I'm just going to double check it one more time. No connection. Meter stays on overload. I tweak it a little bit, and I reach behind and I tweak the wire a little bit, and I got it to connect. So that is definitely a problem. Next, I work to get the ground wire loose. I just cut through the cap there and then cut the wires as close as I can get them. Now I'm struggling to remove the clip that holds the cord in. It is there's a special tool for this. You can buy it from McMaster Car. If I had the tool, this would be a 2-second task, but instead it took me like 10-15 minutes to get this stupid thing out. The tool costs like $63, so I'm not liable to get one anytime soon, so I'm just going to have to continue to struggle. Finally, I decide to just cut the wires and rip them out, and then that would give me more room to get the little clippy that holds everything in out. And finally, I get her pushed out of the plastic. I'm trying to be careful here so I don't break the plastic handle, and I do eventually finally get it out there. So this little clip folds over and pinches the cord so that it provides a strain relief on the cable. One thing I did notice, I probably caused this problem because when I run the rug doctor, I tend to yank on that cord as I'm moving it just to help me move the rug doctor around the room. So now I start trying to feed the cord through the strain relief there, and it won't really go that well. It's really tight, uh, and I got to push a foot or so through that so that I have room for wires inside the handle. I decided to just drill it out so it'll make it a little easier for me, and I'll also make the strain relief go in and out of the plastic handle a lot easier. So there I got it fitting that way, but I'm going to take it over and I'm going to Dremel on the other little piece that folds over. So now it'll fit pretty good. I figure out how much wire I need, position it, and jam it in there with some pliers. Again, if I had the little special tool, this would go a lot easier, but because I took some of the plastic off, this went in a lot easier than it came out. And I struggle for a little bit, but I do manage to get it in there finally. So now I just need to cut back the cable jacket here, and I'm being very careful not to cut all the way through the cable jacket. I just want to score it with the knife, and then I can pry it off, and that way I don't damage any of the internal wiring. And I just cut it off, and away we go to the next step, which is picking out connectors. Alright, here's my assortment of connectors, and I do have some red ones with some insulation all the way down, and I just pick out another couple wire nuts to replace the crappy little bell housing or bell terminals they used before. I think the wire nuts would be better. So here I am crimping the fast on or spade terminal on and getting that installed, and then we gotta figure out the neutral wire. Just cut that down, strip it, and put the wire nut on it. So once that's done, move on to the ground wire. Ground wire, same thing. Cut it down, strip it, and twist it together, and get the wire nut on it. And that leaves us with put it all back together. I'm going to play a little music while I put it back together.
It's Brad's laboratory. It's kinda crazy and a little bit weird, but it's gonna be awesome sauce, 'cause it's Brad's laboratory. It's Brad's laboratory. So grab a spot, you'll learn a lot, maybe even how to build a robot, 'cause it's Brad's laboratory.